Welcome to yet another edition of the Lagos Transportation Agenda. As usual, this is the show which tracks and highlights the activities, projects, programs, and projections of the Lagos State government in the critical area of transportation as a component of the themes agenda of the current administration, and also in the quest for a greater Lagos of our dreams and aspirations. Also on the show, we engage with influential and knowledgeable stakeholders in this very important area of the economy. My name is Austin Inyan. Today on the show, we are looking at the particular role of the Vehicle Inspection Service, VIS, of the Transportation Ministry in Lagos State in tackling the menace of trailers and tankers on our roads, especially in line with the quest by the Lagos State government to develop an integrated and multimodal transport system. To discuss with me on this show is the Director of the Vehicle Inspection Service of the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation in the person of Engineer Akin George Fashola. Welcome to the show, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
All right. When Lagos Transportation Agenda returns after this timeout, we'll dive straight into the topic of the role of the VIS in tackling the menace of trailers and tankers on our roads. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's the Lagos Transportation Agenda, and we are discussing the role of the VIS, the Vehicle Inspection Service of Lagos State Transportation Ministry, in tackling the menace of trailers and tankers on our roads. And as I said, my guest is Engineer Akin George Fashola, the Director of the VIS. Let me start by asking, Director, when we say menace, what exactly made them a menace? Because, of course, they are a very important aspect of our economy in terms of logistics and transportation. Why are they a menace?
Well, thank you, Mr. Austin. You're very right and very correct in your assumption. They are a very critical aspect of Lagos economy. But as such, we must recognize the fact that because of incessant breakdowns and containers falling over, we have to consider that a menace.
Yes.
In all forms of it. So as such, we have taken a particular interest. We've always taken a particular interest, but we must intensify our efforts in that aspect to minimize such occurrences on Lagos State roads, primarily to sustain lives and properties within the state, and also to allow free flow of traffic. Because you agree with me, when a tanker or a trailer breaks down in critical areas, it can form a formidable traffic congestion,
Yes.
the likes that we've seen many times before, over and over. So we are trying to reduce that to the barest minimum.
Okay. So can you just list in concrete terms the safety measures that have been put in place on the part of the Lagos State government to minimize this menace, and what more can still be done?
Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that we are doing, that we put in place, is all trucks that come to Lagos State,
Yes.
9 times out of 10, they end up at Apapa Port.
Yes.
They're either here to pick up something or to drop off something. Most of the time is to pick up something. So, and they have a holding bay. There are various holding bays that they are supposed to go to and wait for a call-up system called ATO, which has been adopted by the port authorities for allowing trucks to come and pick up various goods and services that they provide.
Yes.
So one of the measures that we are employing is to go and meet them in that holding bay.
Yes.
We have Lily Pond and the likes of them. It is at that holding bay that we will inspect their vehicles for compliance. They have a minimum safety index that they should meet as a vehicle.
Yes.
And we have a checklist of safety requirements that they must comply to before they are even allowed to go to the port.
Yes.
And we've been working on that. It's been yielding results. And I want to also say that with the cooperation of the Nigerian port authorities, we have come together to form one voice and administer that in its fullest effect.
Okay, from your assessment and your inspections and everything, because we are told that when menaces like this in terms of transportation are caused usually sometimes by the state of the vehicle itself, also by the behavior of the drivers, and also by environmental factors of all kinds. So from your assessment, which is the most important challenge that you have noticed in terms of your, when you inspect?
Well, Mr. Austin, they're all important.
Okay.
When you look at the mechanical aspect, is important. If you look at the driver attitude, is important. If you look at the environment, it is also important because they all have contributing factors in various levels to the safety of everybody on the road.
Yeah, but which one is most common from your assessment?
It's difficult to say, but you know, in a large part, if we were to go to by public assessment,
Yes.
you would think it was mechanical.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's an assumption.
Okay.
Believe it or not, a lot of trailers, distractors, containers, lorry drivers, they do take care of their vehicles.
Okay.
They do comply with state laws. But, you know, anytime one falls down or anytime one has an accident, the effect is significant. So which makes it more, for lack of a better word, the picture is more explosive because the vehicles are so massive
Yes.
in size. If I were to pick one, I would tend to think that driver error is, for most of what I've seen,
Yes.
driver error. Yes, we have mechanical failure, but you know, it's consistent with the amount of trucks that we have on the road.
Yes.
But 9 times out of 10, it is usually driver error that comes into play. Inexperienced driver, or the driver that is fatigued, or a driver that is not paying the right attention
Yes.
to circumstances around him or her. And we've seen it over and over again. Also, one of the many counterpoints that we're trying to administer is the training and recertification of those drivers.
Exactly.
By compelling them to go to LASB, which is the Lagos State Drivers Institute, for better refocus on their driving attitude, their concentration on the road, the techniques and procedures required to operate vehicles of that magnitude.
So I was wondering how feasible it is to be able to get drivers who come from out of Lagos State, who, as you said, are only here in the state to pick up freight and other goods and so on, to get them to go to such training so that you can protect, you know, what you are mandated to protect in Lagos State.
Excellent. So, based on that question, we've also been working on proactive measures to collaborate with other states. You know, the federation in which we operate, each state is mandated to certify and make sure that the drivers in their state are up to point. But like you said earlier, majority of them come here to pick up and they go out. So we are working in collaboration with other states. We have started with the Southwest states, all 5 Southwest states, to have a uniform platform and a uniform process and procedure in terms of educating these drivers, so that we don't have to stop them when they come here. If we have a unified process and procedure in terms of education and knowledge across board, it reduces the number of casualties that we will have. It's a continual process, and we will continue to do that. And we, in the distant future, not the distant future, not too distant future, because we are also engaging them. We are also unilaterally engaging with all other DVISs or vehicle inspection services in all states, so we can come together and form a common platform where we can verify. Once we verify that the driver is up to scratch, so to speak, they have been trained, retrained, certified, and met all criteria for driving such vehicles, then we can rest easy and let them go about their business. If we were to mount a checkpoint at every entry point in Lagos State, it'll be counterproductive in terms of trying to free up traffic so that people can go about their daily business. So I think the best way for Lagos State right now is what we are currently doing, engaging with other states to unify our platform in terms of training and processing of these drivers of this type of vehicles.
Wonderful. Well said. We will be back on Lagos transportation agenda after this break to discuss more with the director of the VIS, Engineer Akin George Fashola. Please don't go away.
Great economies are built on good transportation network. This is why Lagos State Government through LAMATA has been working tirelessly to enhance the state's transport infrastructure and implement the Strategic Transport Master Plan (STMP) for Lagos and create a world-class transport network for the metropolis. The STMP would deliver 6 rail lines, 1 monorail, 14 BRT routes, 26 water transport routes, 3 cable car routes, and several road intervention to promote the integration of the transport modes. When all these projects are completed, there will be lower emission, leading to better health for all, lower road crashes, better quality of life, and faster economic growth. With the BRT already running in some corridors, jetties being upgraded, and rail line from Okokomaiko to CMS coming on board soon, life of Lagosians in the face of Lagos is changing every day. A healthier and more prosperous Lagos is in the making, and LAMATA is driving it. LAMATA, keeping Lagos moving.
If you're just joining, it's the Lagos Transportation Agenda, and we've been discussing the role of the Vehicle Inspection Service of Lagos State in tackling the menace of trailers and tankers on our roads, especially in line with the efforts of the Lagos State government to promote or to develop a multimodal integrated transportation system. Director, there's been talk in the past about proposals to create tank farms in strategic areas across the states, and also in collaboration with other states and the federal government and so on in other parts of the country, so as to minimize the pressure that these particular vehicles apply on our roads. Because you will agree that apart from the menace we've discussed so far, the pressure on our roads also reducing the lifespan on our roads and making them less, usable for traffic generally. So I do not know how that conversation has gone and whether it's even feasible for a state like Lagos, because of its limited resources.
Okay, so it is no longer a talk. We are doing it. I mentioned earlier that at the port in particular, there's a call-up system that allows you to come in, pick up goods, and leave. It's called the ATO system.
Yes.
And what that does is, so you can't just randomly drive to the port anymore, say you're looking for something to pick up. No. So it has to be a specific call-up that, okay, vehicle so and so, you have been certified and cleared to go in.
Yes.
Now the parks that which they are to maintain their presence until they are called up.
Yes.
We are no longer discussing. We have implemented. We have them currently, about 3 of them in different locations in Lagos State that they are currently being held up. Some are outside of the states in terms of Ogun State, and the likes. So they wait there because every truck park has its capacity, and we cannot keep all of them in one location. So as the call-up system calls a particular vehicle, it frees up a space for another vehicle to move in, wait for their own call-up. So we are not discussing anymore. We are implementing, and we are seeing results in that aspect. So it is no longer a matter of discussion. It is something that we are implementing. And to further buttress the point, vehicle inspection services have a system in place where our men are monitoring those corridors. In time past, even with the truck parks, you see vehicles parked on the roadside thinking they can be smart, play a fast one. No, we are not allowing that. In conjunction with LASMA and even federal authorities, federal road safety, even the military is on that bandwagon. So we're making sure that all those vehicles are no longer allowed to stand on the side of the road waiting for any call-up. If you want a call-up that has been allocated to you, you have to be in one of the truck parks. And in those truck parks as well, we go and do inspection of those trucks. And going further, after doing inspection at those parks, we will also endeavor to be at the port entrance to make sure that it is those people that have been called up and certified that are allowed to enter the port. So those are the measures we put in place. So we're no longer talking about it, we're doing it.
Okay. Now, we told that the Lagos State Water Transportation Agency, LATFERRY, successfully moved over 40,000 trucks sometime in 2020 from throughout that calendar year, from the Mile 2 terminal and so on, which is very commendable. Can you just throw more light on that, and how is that being followed up by the authorities concerned? Well,
if I have to be honest, that is an operation that LASWA is taking up responsibility for. But I know part of the measures put in place was to free up traffic on the roads and use the waterways, which is readily available for us from Apapa all the way to critical places where they can offload and move directly to the road. So they are having tremendous progress in that aspect, and I know it also reduces their operational cost because the waterways are free.
Not so
when I say free, they are free from encumbrances. You can move safely between one point to the other point where you don't have to go through the inner cities. So it's a work in progress. As we increase capacity over the years to come, you will see a significant amount of movement there. We're also looking at possibility of moving those same cargoes on rail. So I think they work hand in hand, release some of the pressures on the road, and it's safe to say that some of the roads that they ply, the tankers and the trailers, are not necessarily designed for the weight capacity which they carry in the first place. But the barges that they use on the waterways is adequately accommodating for the type of use that they are using it for.
Wonderful. Good to know that, because I'm always talking about the size of some of these vessels and
Yes.
what they can do.
No,
in terms of moving.
they are capable, and it is specifically designed for that.
Particular
Yes,
purpose,
it
that
is.
particular size of
Absolutely.
vehicles. All right, Lagos, of course, is a commercial hub and a business area for Nigeria, not just Nigeria, the West African sub-region. So I'm always we talked about the role, what government is doing, but what role is the private sector playing to move this process along, or what role do you envisage that they can even play in the not too distant future?
In
the
terms
long term,
of
working with government to not just reduce the menace, but also to reduce the pressures on our roads.
okay, so from VIS perspective,
Yes.
the main criteria that we always engage private sector is, one is their maintenance of their vehicles. We have a fleet department which handles that. So
Okay.
what we do, we assist them to manage their fleet if that need be. A lot of companies normally manage their fleet without any issues, but there are some that are new to the game.
Yes.
We assist them in doing that. We provide services where we go into their organization, they give us a list of all the vehicles that they have, and then we go through a thorough assessment of all conditions of their vehicles through a checklist and point out key things that they need to make maintenance schedules for. And once they have complied, we issue them roadworthiness accordingly.
Yes.
So in terms of private entities, we always engage them to make sure that their facility manager is one that is abreast with the law. Once you know what is going on with the law, what you are supposed to maintain, and what are your limits and what you can do, then their operations will move smoothly. And you can agree with me, even in the private sector, the criteria is not to have breakdowns.
Exactly.
It doesn't do you any favors to be in that aspect of operation where your vehicles are breaking down all the time.
Yes.
Because time is money. So with the fleet operations and with the other aspect of enlightenment that we do with them, so we engage them extensively in that aspect. If they need help, we offer services to them, and we put them in line in terms of what they need to do. But like I said, for the most part, most of the major companies are well ahead of schedule in terms of that aspect of maintaining that. And of course, they can support government in other ways too. Engaging with LASWA might be a form of productivity for them.
Exactly. Just explore that particular mode to its fullest.
Everybody knows the price of a vehicular fuel right now. In terms of diesel, it's astronomical. Even if you could afford it, by the time you get in traffic, it tells on your overall cost.
Exactly.
But if you are going on the waterways where it's a smooth flow from A to B, I mean,
you are saving a whole lot of money.
It only makes common sense.
Exactly.
So those are some of the key ways private sector can key into that aspect. But the most important thing is that they have a very good fleet management of their operating vehicles.
Exactly. Well said, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Engineer Akin George Fashola, Director of the Vehicle Inspection Service of the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation. Thank you so very much.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank
know
you,
how busy you are, so we're always grateful when you create time to be with us on the show. And that has been the size of the show today. I thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next week on Lagos Transportation Agenda at this very time on this station. Until then, this is Austin Iyan saying, take care of yourself, stay safe. Bye-bye.